Hey everybody, I'm Nurgle Snurgle. Welcome to or welcome back to this channel. This is Diary of a Wargamer. I am that Wargamer and this is my diary for you. I hope everyone's doing well. I know it's been a couple weeks since my last episode. I did try to do an episode 3, but I had severe audio issues. I even took to Instagram, and although a lot of the answers were to upload it anyways, some of you did choose for me to do a redo, but I think I'm just gonna let it go in the ether. I may even post it onto Patreon as episode 2.5, and if you want to listen to or get through the bad audio issues, you can help yourself. So I'll do that this week sometime. What ended up happening was my audio kept coming in and out and in and out, and to me it was unlistenable, but perhaps you guys can find value in it somehow. So it'll be on there as my first piece of content, I guess. I feel like Patreon's just a good place just to kind of stick things for now until I actually take it more seriously and make actual content for it. But for now, it's just there for support if you'd like to. There'll be some links down below if you want to. So yes, thank you for coming back. It's good to be back. There was a couple of weeks where I was kind of taking a little step away from all social media, essentially, from checking my messages to Instagram to any progress I was making. It was a hard week, I would say. I got some unfortunate news about a very close family member, and I just took some time to reflect more on my life and more of my life with this person. It was a little bit of a family pressing matter, but luckily in the end, it wasn't serious, and it was just nice to know that we don't need to worry about anything. So that kind of took me through a spin, I guess you could say, just like taking a reflection of what I'm doing with my life and trying to reorganize it, because even leading up to it, I think I was really hitting the winter blues, and I needed to feel the sun and to see the sun, because throughout those weeks I just felt very gloomy, very gray, and I was internally feeling that way. So lately it's been beautiful. I feel rejuvenated. I feel motivated. I'm putting myself outside to soak up as much vitamin D as I can. It's free. It's calorie free. It's there for the taking, unless the clouds are in the way. But that's how and where I'm at right now. I guess I'd say mentally I feel much better. I'm journaling more. I'm taking more aware of who I am and what I want to see myself in the future. I just want to take care of myself more, love myself more, and fight those inner demons that we all fight every single day. So journaling helps a lot with that. Getting proper sleep. I know nutrition is a big one, and as much as I'm a chef and I know how to cook, I like to snack. I like to eat. I like my sweets. So that is another struggle I go through. But I'm adding in more exercising, and the journaling is helping mentally. So I know my next step will be my nutrition, and hopefully things will be more of a smooth sailing after that. So that's just been kind of, like I said, what I've been up to. On my hobby corner lately, if you have been watching my Instagram, has been Vashtorr. I actually finished him last week, but today it is April the 11th. I posted a final video of Vashtorr. I can finally put him on the shelf and set him aside. I don't have many plans to play with him. I haven't even looked at the rules. I keep hearing that they're bad. I don't know what that means, but it doesn't matter because he was a beautiful model to paint. I knew going into it from the first moment I saw the Vashtorr reveal, teaser of the model, I knew that I really wanted to paint him, and I'm so glad I did. He's the perfect amount of grim dark that I wanted to tackle. And if you haven't seen it yet, a brief description is the skin is very dark with a little bit of like the grim dark pinkish yellowish skin, with these striking hot metal, I guess. It's a red to orange to yellow to white blend for his wings, and then he's got these bluish white black claws. And obviously the most striking part are the wings. And I remember finishing up the skin, and I go to Boltgun. I was like, I want to do the most ambitious thing I've never done before. And I had it in my mind of the direction I wanted to go in. And he said, do it up. Just let's see what you do. And I just started blending it and blending and blending, and I showed him, and his eyes just popped out of his head, and he was just wowed by it, and I was even wowed by it. And I continued with it, and it's my favorite part of the piece, because it was so ambitious. And then I have these contrasting claws of his that are nice and icy blue to the red hot red. I just wanted to put it there because I just wanted to try the opposite. And again, really love that. Added some like fluorescent pinkish orange to his eyes and his mouth. Added some other, get slight OSL like pinkish type of tones. Overall, I'm very happy with the piece. Yeah, I would actually love to paint another Vashtorr. I think he's been one of my top favorite models to paint. And I'm happy that he's done. Usually around the 3/4 mark, that's when I really struggle. I would say actually more the 2/3 to the 3/4 mark is where I struggle the most. There's something about in that zone where I'm just like, I need to pump myself up. I need to talk to myself essentially to like motivate myself to get to the finish line. Like, it's almost like I go into a haze and I can't see the finish line. I don't know how to get there, and I'm just like, okay, then let's do the base. Let's do something else besides the model. Okay, the base looks pretty cool. Okay, let's do the staff. And then this domino effect of painting just occurs. Yeah, it's always a struggle with every single model I've ever picked up. It's usually in that time frame I suffer. It's either that time frame or in the very beginning where I am trying to pick colors, like, oh, will it look good, that kind of thing. I've come to more of a point where I'm just like, just put the color on. Just get the color on. Like, you'll figure out techniques and how it'll look afterwards, but just get it on. So I feel the more models I paint, I'm hoping the easier that process becomes. But yeah, I just finished that. I do have a secret project that I'm working on the side. It's not like a sponsor type of thing. It's a model for a friend, and I want to give it to him in person and not something that he sees online. So I've been working on that for a little while. I secretly stopped for a little bit because I worked myself up because I want it to be the best paint job I ever do, but I need to remind myself that if I put love in it, it will always be the best that I ever do. And I put love in everything I do, so it's always the best. Anyways, that's pretty much what's going on in my hobby corner. Besides the secret project, obviously I have my sisters I really need to get to. I think I've grandized this idea and this plan that I want to... Sorry, I had to edit because I kept banging the microphone, but that I want to make this grandized video tutorial cinematic sequence of these sisters, and I just never feel ready for it. And how just shameful that would be if I never feel ready. So I need to get on those. I need to just push myself into the deep end and get to it. So that will hopefully be my next projects. I have a bunch of models to work on and they look amazing, and I can't wait to kind of give a little bit of a conversion. You'll have to stay tuned for what they look like. So that's that. And another thing I've been doing a lot of is drawing. I have Procreate, so I do some digital art, and been trying to do it at least an hour a day just to get some creative juices flowing. I like to do it first thing in the morning, after or during having my coffee, and it's been helping a lot just to get any type of creativeness going. And yeah, so if you want to watch my drawings, see what I draw every day, I like to post them in the stories, but I do post them on Discord, so you can click on the link in the description and come to my Discord. It's pretty chill. It's not too crazy, so it's a great platform to put some stuff on, and you can follow this journey some more. I guess we can talk about some Warhammer news that's happened. I have it written out, so let me just today it was announced that there is a Warhammer game coming called Boltgun. I am excited for this. It's Doom meet like old Doom, 80s style Doom with a Warhammer twist. And I saw the picture of the blue horror and the Nurgling, and I can't say no. It looks like a lot of fun. I wonder if it'll be multiplayer. So yeah, I'm looking into that. I know it's been some time, but Lionel Johnson has been dropped. He is a gorgeous model. I hope to paint him one day. Why not? Who wouldn't want to paint another Loyalist Primarch? I have painted a Bobby G. You can find him on my Instagram as well. He was a lot of fun. He's actually been my only Primarch that I've painted. Funny enough. But, you know, anything Warhammer related that is a cool model is always great. New Leapers, new Nid models have been dropping. That's really neat to see because 10th is just around the corner. It's crazy to think that in a couple months we're going to be playing a completely different game system. And I wouldn't lie if I said that for a little while I was unsure of 10th edition, only because of the leaks that were coming out and the rumors that people were dropping and how all of these new mechanics were coming to the game and like toughness was going. Yeah, there was a Excel sheet that somebody posted in one of the chats, and I just opened it up and I was like, what am I reading? I couldn't quite understand it, but now we know that most of those rumors were false. And the talks of 10th, we've had detachment leaks, and then Oath of Moments. That's the only thing I've seen of 10th coming. That seems pretty powerful. Just reading it, but you know what? I am reserving all thoughts and concerns until I have the book in my hand. I'll probably do a video the day that launches, because that's gonna be exciting news amongst everybody. It's completely different. I was never really around during the 8th edition indexes. I started in 8th edition when the demons came about. And so that's going to be new for me. Yeah, it seems like it's going to be quite simple. So that's going to be an interesting take back from what 9th has been. But overall, I'm excited. That's what 9th has always been, is this constant change. So I guess we've just been trained for more change, and this will be the most drastic change, but I'm ready for it. Yeah, I have enjoyed 9th. I really liked playing the 8th edition Nurgle Demons in 9th. I have yet to really enjoy 9th edition Nurgle Demons in 9th edition. But I have enjoyed Chaos Daemons in 9th edition. I know that a lot of people are making Nurgle Demons work, but it hasn't clicked with me, or I'm just not having fun with the playstyle. I loved being a tar pit and being resilient and coming back and healing and all that good fun jazz that 8th edition was. But this edition, sorry Nurgle, I've had to put him on the back burner for over a month now. Since I've done this podcast, I guess, I had a GT, and that was the Deckbox GT. It was a lot of fun because I took Chaos Daemons. I took the big monster smash with Be'lakor and the Bloodthirster and Kairos and the Great Unclean One with some Bloodletters, 16 Flamers, and what else did I have? That was it. Yeah. And I kind of wanted to give myself a bit of a challenge, and that was I didn't play the army before the GT. I studied, I understood what the units kind of did and what their abilities were, but I didn't study. I didn't test run the army. I just went in and right away I loved them. They were awesome. Like, the one thing that I had huge problems before, especially with my big Great Unclean One list, was mobility. It is so difficult to play those big monsters on the type of terrain that we have. There's sometimes where you can't even fit through, like out of your deployment zone, because of the walls and the obstacles you have to get through. And with this new list, most of them flew. Most of them fly or go right through the walls, except for the Great Unclean One. But my first matchup was against Gene Stealers, and luckily my opponent is a great friend, and I felt comfortable playing against him, and we had a really tight match. I couldn't believe it. I believe it was 88-82 or something along those lines. It was either a 6 or 7 point difference, and having known that that was my first time playing the army, next time if I was to rematch, I think I could win. I played really aggressively the first turn. Even I was like, I want to see what these guys can do, and I rushed the Bloodthirster and Be'lakor right into the center objective, and even my opponent was like, oh geez. And then I wasn't quite sure where to put Kairos. I knew that I need to be a little bit reserved with him. He doesn't get powerful until turns 3, 4, and 5 because of the ability to add the battle round to your casting. So I need him to stay alive turns 4 and 5 so I can just get those super smites and the other mortal wound spells. So I knew that. I felt a little uncomfortable with the flamers, only because shooting's not my forte. I love melee, so target priorities, they have a lot of mobilities and the shooting and trying to not get them into combat because they have a 6-up save, not good. And I had them open up for many charges throughout the entire event. So I'm still learning with them, but they're great. I didn't realize how much DACA they liked until I was rolling the dice. And against Gene Stealers, the stratagem for 2 CP to get max shots comes into play when there's units of 11 plus bodies. So I utilized that. The bloodletters didn't do much. Oh, I had Nurglings. I had a unit of 3 Nurglings. How did I ever forget? So yes, that was my first match with them. And then my second match was against Tyranids. And this guy knows his Tyranids inside and out. And I think that kind of got to me. I was very intimidated by his Tyranids. And so I played rather conservatively, stupidly conservatively. I even have my Bloodthirster in the back corner with Kairos and the Flamers, because I didn't know what he was gonna do to me, and he won. But looking back on it, again, if I just stayed the aggressive type, perhaps I could contest with him. And then third, I believe, was Drukhari. Yes, Drukhari. And then I won again. And so that was great. Next day, I played a mirror match against Demons. Knowing what I could do and what he could kind of do, that put me in a little bit of panic. Like, I wasn't quite sure what I was gonna do with them. But took the win. And having the second win felt really great. That I was understanding this army that I barely played, but it felt so right. Like, it felt my play style that I hadn't felt in a very long time. I just like to fight. I like to get in and smash and hopefully survive. And then for my last match was against Sisters, and I have yet to beat Sisters. Every time before that, I was shot off the board. I was, with all their meltas, I was just out-tricked by all their maneuvers and their abilities. And this match, I took the win for the first time. And because in my mind, all I could tell myself is, you need to be aggressive. Do not be afraid of them. I kept my Grand Clean one on the table. I think I kept everything on the table, and I just rushed him as best as I could. And Be'lakor, in a group of sisters, is a tornado. Wow, did he do numbers. And the Great Unclean was pretty good too. Like, even after the event, the Great Unclean one overall, I kind of wanted to drop him because he's so hard to move. But the way I kit him out, I give him corruption, so he gets +1 damage, and he ignores wound caps and feel no pains. And then Virulent Touch. Every successful hit is a wound. So hitting on 2s, say corruption with a sweeping attack, that's 12 attacks, 2 damage. So that's a pretty great combo. I gave him -1 in melee, which was all right. He was killing pretty much everything in melee, so there wasn't really much swing back from it. Bellacore again in the sisters just swept them up. They couldn't fight back. Bloodthirster just annihilated anything that was in his path. So, but he was great because I was able to put him on objectives. What's the sisters? The Oath of Shrine, or the shrine that if they don't hold that objective by the end of the game, they lose 3 points. Perhaps you could let me know in the comments down below, but they took that secondary, and I just put my Bloodthirster onto that objective, and I whirlwind him, and he was just gonna sit there for the rest of the game. Unfortunately, like, there were some the sisters player made some mistakes, as he said, and his miracle dice, I swear to God, he was rolling 2s and 3s and 1s, and it was not going in his favor for that miracle dice, but that's the name of the game. That's the same thing with Warp Storm. Like, you know, like, there's been times where I haven't received a single Warp Storm in a round, and it feels bad. But here we are. And so overall, it was a great weekend with some great people, great friends, and great opportunities to roll dice. And so that was a lot of fun. This past weekend, I had an RTT, and I wanted to take those demons again. So I took them. The only difference I made was I took demonettes instead. I wanted to try having mobility, and I actually kind of liked them. So I took the demonettes, and then I took 5 Nurglings instead of 3. I gave the Great Unclean One bountiful gifts so that he could retain 2 unspent Warpstorm points instead of the -1 melee, or -1 damage in melee, because like I said, it wasn't coming up. And Warpstorm with big demons and getting that 5 Warpstorm points is crucial. And if I can get that for free, essentially, from the Great Unclean One, because the first turn, nothing's really happening. Depends on who I'm fighting, though. Like, if it's shooting, then yeah, a lot is happening. But the demons aren't really going to perish all that much. Or from just the armies I've played. So my first match was a Demon's Mirror. Almost the same. The only difference was he only had 3 big guys. So no Great Unclean One. But he had Kairos, he had a Bloodthirster, and Bellacore, and Flamers. He took Fleshhounds and Bloodletters and Nurglings as well. So it was really great that we could just go to the table, and so Blood God just came home, and so I just wanted to say hi to him. And so going back to the RTT, and my first match was with the demons. I took the win. So it was a pretty strong win, but I think it was because I had the 4 big guys and just had some really lucky rolls. Things surviving onto their last health, and then healing, and better tactics and secondaries. So that was that game. Second game, I played against Black Legion. Again, played aggressively, got my guys in, destroyed, and took the W. Final match was against Chaos Knights, and I knew I was not going to win. So I played stupid. I played not knowing what to do. And it was the last game of the day, so I just took it as experiment, and I just rushed my guys into the knights to see what happened. And I had some off tactics, and didn't go my way, but I still went 2-1, and I came in 5th. I was so ecstatic. I didn't realize that was gonna happen. So that was great, and I'm really happy to be talking about my tournaments and my experience going to these. And one of the things I really want to talk about, and what I'll be talking about tonight, is my preparation for these events. You're gonna hear from people telling you to study, to make notes, to make tokens, to do all those great things that do help. But what I'm gonna talk to you about is a little bit of deeper digging into really preparing for such an event, because there's aspects of it that you may not think about, and especially if you haven't gone to one. So I'm going to let you know some of the things that I like to do, and you can find ways to incorporate that into your own habit. So the first thing I'd like to talk about, I have 7 things. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is something that is so important to me, and I've experimented throughout all of the events I've gone through, because there's one common thing that happens if I don't do this specific thing, is I'll get like really bad headaches by the end of one of the days, and I'll feel it in my frontal lobe. I know it's dehydration, but what I really feel it from is the lack of food. And I've tried doing events where you wait till lunch and then you go get food, and then you come back and you shove the food in your mouth, and then you try to get through the next 2 games. That doesn't work. I've had bad food, snacky food, just that doesn't work. The things I've found to have worked is to make a lunch the night before, pack foods, finger foods the night before. So one of the things I really like is carrot sticks. I don't need dip with mine, so I can just have carrot sticks. Crackers is another great one. I'll make some sort of like little cookie or cupcake just to have like a little sweet tooth, and then I'll have like a main food for lunch, just something that's heavier. I also like to do oatmeal as well, because it's another heavy food that I can put into my system, and then I'm not thinking about food later on. But I have found that snacking throughout these games has helped my headaches tremendously. Perhaps it's even helpful with fidgeting and concentration. Like I'll have my carrot stick and I'll just kind of watch and munch. Just having something that is nutritious as well, on the side in a container, just ready to pop in. I'm sorry if my opponents find it annoying. I try not to crunch too loudly, but it's essential. Number 2 is what I just mentioned, is hydration. Make sure that you have some sort of drink. You can if you don't like water, you can still get water, put some little flavored drops into it, just get some sort of liquid in you, because you're going to be talking and you're going to be standing and you're going to be thinking. So just getting that fluid into, or get some booch into you. Care booch is the best type of booch, I would say, during an event. I always love seeing the care cans at an event. But find your liquid and drink that. Try to avoid, obviously, sugary pops or sugary juices, of course. You may want energy drinks, but be wary that you could crash from them. So try to drink more water-based liquids. Number 3 is sleep. I cannot stress this enough, that sleep is important. I know, and I've been there, where you're up till 3 o'clock in the morning and you still have a model to paint. Unfortunately, you should have painted that earlier, and I have told myself I should have painted this earlier. But what's most important is you're getting a proper amount of sleep before the event. I recommend minimum 6 hours. 8 is great. 6 is good. 5, you're pushing it. 4, oh my. So sleep is key as well. Make sure you partake in that, especially when it's a 2-day weekend. Get your sleep in. I actually meant hydration to be part of food. So number 3, clothing. Make sure that you are wearing comfortable clothing, comfortable shoes. Shoes are very important. You're going to be standing, you're going to be leaning over, you can't sit at the chair the entire time, so make sure that you are wearing shoes that you can last in for at least 9 to 10 hours. No one's gonna want you to take your shoes off and smell your stinky socks. Gross. One of the things I like to do is I make sure I collect everything I need to the day before. Don't push it to the night before. You can kind of go like early evening, but try not to do it like last minute, because that's going to cut into your sleep time. And then you're going to worry all night. Did I pack my measuring tape? Did I pack my laser? Did I pack my 3-inch ruler? Just do it during the day, so that if you do forget something, hopefully that thought comes before sleep. You can write yourself a list. You can write out packing models, books, measuring tape, dice, tokens, and have like a little checklist, so that when you do put it in your bag, you can check it off. And make sure you pack that lunch, and you can even have your clothing set aside, so that when you wake up, everything's already done for you, and you just have to turn that coffee on and sit and wait till you need to leave the house, and hopefully that puts you in a really good mood for the day. Another thing I like to do that's not really, you wouldn't think is related to an event, but is very important as well, is working out the day before. I love working out the day before. I try to go hard. I push myself. Usually I'll do like a really good VR session, just to, For me, VR is great for stretching and gets my mind going and has me really aware of my surroundings. Prior to the GT, I went to the gym with two great people and we worked it out there, and I was on the treadmill. I just really focused on my direction, and that's all it is. It's a simple exercise, but really take focus on. I find that really amps me up for the weekend and gets me going. Number 6 is charge your electronics. Make sure your phone's plugged in. Make sure your headphones, if you're wearing them, are plugged in. Any device that you are going to be using, make sure you plug them in. You don't want to end up at the event and your iPad has 20% and there's no plug-in where it's nearby your table kind of thing. So I've fallen victim to forgetting. I don't want you to. So just something that you can think about. You can hear my voice. Plug in your electronics. The next event you go to. So, and 7, of course, number 7, and the best of all, have fun. Have fun. I've often regretfully gone to events and I've put so much pressure on myself that if I don't do well or if I forget something, that I'm gonna have a bad time. But that's never a good way to take away from it. It's I see events more than just competitive play. I see it as an opportunity to see amazing people, share amazing stories, swap tricks and tips about painting and hobbying, and masking that with having a fun game amongst people. Unfortunately, like, the competitiveness gets kind of scurried in there a little bit, but you just gotta set it aside and remember that it's just a game. The rankings of the matchups have no value on who you are as a person. Even though winning is kind of like a nice feeling. But it is not everything, of course. Just, of course, be respectful to one another. We're all people here with our amazing models, and we're here to connect and share a fun experience. So those were some of my, I guess, unconventional event planning that maybe you don't really hear about too often. So that was eat and drink, sleep, wear comfy clothing, collection and organization of your stuff, work out, get some exercise, charge your electronics, and have fun. Thank you for sticking around this long, and thank you for listening to this podcast. I would love to shout out a Patreon right about now, but again, it's pretty bare out there. But this is where I would normally do it. So far, right now, nothing, but I can't wait to say your name. It's just a place where if you want to support me, you can do it there. All the links will be down below. I want to say that I hope that you are having a fabulous day. I love you all, and ciao for now.